Well, we have an atmospheric river event affecting the Pacific Northwest with lots of rain, potential flooding, gusty winds, and then lots of snow in the higher elevations. All of that will be tracking east. It'll be weaker, but we're talking about moisture for the plains and Great Lakes, mostly in the form of rain as warmer air pushes northward. So you've heard this term before, atmospheric river. I think it's basically a river of excessive moisture that comes from the tropical Pacific and is shooting at the Pacific Northwest here already Friday, and it will be through the weekend, bringing the potential for some flooding rain. This is precipitable water content. You can see the plume of greens and blues in that comma shape hitting the Pacific Northwest. That is a lot of moisture in the atmospheric column being condensed out in the form of several inches of rain and potentially a lot of snow too in the higher elevations. So already over the last few days, we've been seeing 1 to 3 inches of rainfall in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Washington, Western Washington, and that's going to continue here through the weekend. We've got just a marginal risk, though, of potential excessive rainfall as we head into Sunday, into Monday in particular. But in total, additional rainfall here could be in the 3 to 6 inch range for a large area of the western parts of Washington, Oregon, and then, of course, into Canada as well. So we're going to see lots of moisture there. We've got wind advisories and wind warnings along the coastal areas too, where wind gusts are going to be around 50 miles an hour, and already a couple flood warnings in southwest Oregon and into northwest California there, where the ground is already saturated. So it looks like the highest winds come in Friday night into Saturday. Of course, the strongest winds will be offshore, but any of the coastal areas will be really battered, especially up into British Columbia, with some pretty high winds here heading into tonight and tomorrow. These are wind gust swaths where we'll see those gusts in the excess of 50-mile-an-hour range in some areas, especially some of the mountain areas and along the coastal areas, 50 to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. In addition to, of course, some very heavy rain and some very heavy snow in higher elevations. We'll be measuring the snowfall in feet. Pretty common with some of these bigger storms, but yeah, you get that kind of moisture pointed at a mountain range, and you get just lots of snow as well here with all that moisture. So that piece of energy, though, from that system will then track east across the mountains. It will lose its character that we're seeing in the Pacific Northwest, but it is going to amount to some precipitation for the northern plains and then into the Great Lakes, mostly in the form of rain showers. It looks like Sunday moving into the Dakotas and Minnesota. You can see the snow largely stays on the Canadian side of the border. Northeastern Minnesota might see a little snow Monday on the back edge of that system as it continues across the Great Lakes. And precipitation will not be nearly as high as what the Northwest will see, but we're still talking about up to an inch of precipitation potentially around the Great Lakes in particular, and even Northeastern Minnesota, potentially over a half inch of precipitation. But you see largely the snowfall really stays into Canada where it'll be cold enough, just maybe a coating and portions of Northeastern Minnesota, the UP and Michigan, and mostly north of the Great Lakes. And that's largely because of the warmth being drawn in ahead of that system. The shades of blue, white, and purple are where temperatures are sub-freezing a few thousand feet up, where it's necessary to produce snowfall. And you can see really that cold stays north until we head into Monday. So that's what we're watching, an atmospheric river event for the Northwest and moisture tracking east.